United States Attorney's Office, how may I help you?
Hey man, this is Matt Reardon. I just called you, transferred me over to Linda King, I think it was.
Yes, sir.
And it went to voicemail. I left a voicemail. The U.S. Attorney's Office refused to call me for probably 6 weeks' time over a public corruption scandal that occurred here in Oxford. It involved the FBI. It involved the Sheriff's Department. It's something very, very serious, and I'm down to the wire as far as time. I penned an open letter to the U.S. Attorney to get his answer on several bullet points. Is there somebody there? I'm not sure if I'm going to get a call back. So is there somebody there that can maybe accept service on his behalf if he's not there, so that I can make sure that he gets this letter? Because next Tuesday, is where I've got to make a decision.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, give me just 1 minute.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Sam Wright.
Hey, Mr. Wright. This is Matt Reardon,
yes.
The Oxford Outlaw. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's good to talk to somebody up there. I for about 6 weeks' time, I went unanswered by the U.S. Attorney's Office on what is a major scandal, and I can't for the life of me understand why the U.S. Attorney's Office, tasked with preventing this type of thing, wouldn't even take it serious enough to look at the just substantial evidence. It involves the FBI and their intentional obstruction of justice and quite likely destruction of evidence. It involves the mayor of Oxford.
All right.
It involves the Lafayette County Sheriff's Department. It involves my ex. This is one of the nastiest quid pro quo public corruption scandals that I personally have ever seen, and it's an absolute atrocity. I penned an open letter, 2-page letter, to the U.S. Attorney yesterday, and I would like to make sure that he receives service of it. I would like to talk to him, honestly, in regards to everything, because it's absolutely mind-blowing. My life was ruined. Back in 2017, I was framed on a crime that I couldn't have possibly committed. The FBI knew that I couldn't have possibly committed it, and they sat around like a lifeguard with his hand stuck in the cookie jar, just watching a child drown. It caused me to really lose all faith, and my life has been substantially turned upside down since then. The Lafayette County Sheriff's Department, the county, and even the county's attorney seems to think that it's all just a big joke, that my civil rights were conspired upon to be destroyed, and that's what they did. I actually took the advice of an assistant U.S. attorney at the time and went and met with the FBI because I had a death threat on me. And the very next day, I was surrounded by a mob of 4 sheriff's deputies, one of them which took a call on May 24th, 2017, which I just more recently found out about through a public records request, and that was what stemmed the sham warrant. And they are refusing to comply with producing information about that call. The FBI has refused to comply with producing the 302 that would have been generated from the sit-down meeting.
Well, they have their own counsel, like their own lawyers that do that. So I don't know if that's what you're calling about.
No, I'm calling about y'all. I know that the FBI is y'all's investigative branch, and the U.S. Attorney's Office is explicitly tasked with preventing public corruption. And, when I hold all the keys to the castle here, if you go to writingwiththeoutlaw.com, you'll see stuff that'll blow your mind. And actually, I just finished a new video. As far as I'm producing my Seeking Vindication here, and it's absolutely mind blowing. And I don't even have everything on the website.
Okay, so you mentioned whenever the call was transferred to me, you were something about accepting service of process or something.
It's not accepting service of process. It's accepting service of a letter, of an open letter. Because what I plan to do, there are several. It's very significant concerns that society as a whole have right now. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm a American patriot, and I had all my rights stripped from me in something that was completely a sham. It involved all three stages of local government. It involved the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. This was all a plan in order to get rid of me, to silence me, and to...
Were you charged with a crime or something?
I sure was. I was charged with the crime of aggravated stalking. That on or before May the 8th, I put the Lynches in fear of their life with an AR-15, and that was impossible. A bill of sale proves that. Lafayette County knew it all along, because I had the bill of sale showing that I didn't purchase the gun until May 20th. And I only purchased the weapon. I wanted an AR-15 for a while. And whenever I was given proof that there was a death threat made on me, it sure gave me the perfect excuse to get it. I sat down with the FBI on May 25th, 2017. See, May 22nd, 2017, Ray Tannehill, Robin Tannehill's husband, filed an emergency injunction against me. I was hunted down the next day on the 23rd on campus. They filed an emergency injunction to keep me 500 feet or 500 yards away from the Tannehills. I was listed on the docket to speak at City Hall on June the 6th. That was the day of the election for the mayor. I had information that was pretty serious at the time. This was all a way to shut me up and get rid of me. I was arrested May 26th. I was illegally held at the Lafayette County Detention Center until May 30th. I'm only supposed to have 2 days before I go before a judge. I was held for 4. And then the judge, Judge Carolyn Bell, Justice Court judge, she met with a sheriff's investigator behind closed doors while I was in the courtroom for about 10 minutes prior to coming out and reading me the charge. I said, "Your Honor, I would like to address the court." She looked at me and she said, "Mr. Reardon, you have the right to remain silent." I said, "I know what my rights are, Your Honor. I don't choose to invoke the Fifth, I choose to invoke the First. I wanted to show that I had 100% proof that I couldn't have committed the crime and that the state had absolutely nothing to base its baseless accusation on." She once again told me I had the right to remain silent, and she gave me a $150,000 bond. I've never been accused of a felony before. So that was May 30th. Exactly a week later was when I was supposed to speak out. They did that with the sole. It's my what I believe is they did that with the sole intention of knowing that a habeas corpus filing could not even get me before a judge to get me out in such short notice.
Well, Mr. Reardon, I'm listening to everything you're saying, and I certainly understand. There may have been some confusion when the call was transferred to me. I'm actually in the civil division, so I do, like tort claims against the United States. I do bankruptcy work. There's tort claims that are coming. Believe me. Okay, what I'm telling you though is I don't know anything about the criminal side of things you're talking about. I think maybe.
That's why I want to speak to the U.S. attorney.
Okay, well, your question was something about a letter. I think there was some confusion about service of process. I'm authorized to accept service of process of lawsuits and stuff. If you're wanting to send a letter or get proof that a letter was sent, I suggest sending it certified mail. I can do that. The problem is, like I've stated in the letter, that on Tuesday, the 26th,
the letter, whether it gets a response from the U.S. Attorney or not, is going to be forwarded to the Department of Justice in the attention of the Attorney General, William Barr. This is that significant, so I want to give the U.S. Attorney enough notice. And the only reason why Tuesday is the day is because I'm running out of options myself. I mean, I've already crossed 3 years. Luckily, I filed a post-conviction relief, which was prejudicially denied by a circuit court judge that was supposed to be recused and had no right to even rule on that. So I appealed that, and then I filed a motion for recusal against the judge. But he did that on the 29th. I have 30 days. Now, granted, I told it, whenever I filed the motion for recusal, but I'm tired of waiting until the last minute to get things done. And so, come the 26th, whether I have a response or not, I mean, it's an open letter. So I would like to fairly give where I wasn't afforded any kind of fair chances. I'd like to, fairly afford the U.S. Attorney the opportunity to read the letter and to respond to it.
Okay, well, I mean, like I said, I think you can send it certified mail. I don't know what to tell you. If you ask me if I can take it on his behalf, I can't, because like I said, I can accept.
Can I meet the U.S. Attorney?
I have no control over that. I mean, you'd have to try to raise that with him. I don't know. Like I said, it was a service of process issue. I mean, I obviously can't set up meetings for the U.S. Attorney.
Well, Sam, that's what I'm calling for. Why can't I not get transferred to somebody that I can set a time to meet the U.S. Attorney?
Well, I mean, all right, so you said you're a former Marine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you were in the Marine Corps, could you, and forgive me, I was not in the military, but could you set meetings for your commanding officer or whatever that may be without their knowledge?
No, but let me just
okay.
Let me
Well,
just say,
no,
Sam. Let me just go ahead and say this to go ahead and fix this, squash this. I also wasn't facing a time crunch. I also was not framed for a crime that I didn't commit. It wasn't at the disposal of an agency that refused to do what they were tasked with doing. They had a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that this happened. Just one constitutional right violation or one allegation, a simple allegation of public corruption should be enough for your office to look into. Now, everything else.
You keep saying my office. I understand. I work here. That's true. But I don't do any of the type of work that you're talking about. I apologize. Like I said, maybe
you just don't know how serious this is, because I'm sure you've probably never had to go through this. But I'm tired of my life being upside down. Tired of people gaffing it off and not taking it seriously. And I would like to speak with the U.S. Attorney. Is he in the office today?
He is not, that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
You really, right now, a lot of people are not working within the office because of, like many other businesses with the COVID stuff. So
yeah, it's a sham. It's an excuse. It's just an excuse to give. What I've found is it's been an excuse to give the government, extra time. And honestly, it's just in my opinion, this is all just a test on compliance.
Okay, you can think what you want. Certainly, you're entitled to do that. If you want proof that a letter arrives, you're welcome to send it certified mail. I can't make appointments on behalf of the U.S. Attorney. You have to do that through his office, literally his office and his legal assistant. If it's accepting service of process of something, I can do that, but otherwise you just need to send it certified mail. That way you have your proof that it was delivered to this office. So I don't know what else to tell you on that.
I guess I'm just really trying to find out if the U.S. Attorney's Office is willing to even look into this and investigate this, or if I need to serve process on the U.S. Attorney's Office for not fulfilling their job that they were assigned with. Because, 6 weeks without a phone call is ridiculous.
Well, I don't have authority to say that the office of the U.S. Attorney will investigate anything, because I don't even do criminal work. So if you're looking for that, I can't give that to you. So if feel the need to file something, then that's your right to do so. But otherwise, if you're just wanting a copy of your letter to be received, like I said, certified mail would give you a receipt that was delivered to the office. So I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not trying to give you the runaround either. It doesn't sound like something I can help you with. If you're asking me to make an appointment on behalf of the U.S. Attorney, I'm not authorized to do that. And
I'm just trying to compel a response. I mean, as I should. I mean, I have, being a American citizen and a Marine Corps veteran, I have. It is my responsibility to hold those in, that are tasked with this, that are paid with taxpayer dollars, to make sure that they are fulfilling their job.
Have you mailed the letter and it came back to you or something? Or
No. I just put it together yesterday.
Okay. Well, like I said, I mean, my suggestion would be, if you want proof that it was mailed and delivered, then send it the certified mail. I don't know what else to tell you otherwise. If you have an actual lawsuit that needs to be served, then I can accept service to that. But as far as correspondence to the U.S. Attorney or making appointments, I mean, I can't do anything to help you. And
okay. Are you just authorized to accept service of suit for the U.S. Attorney's Office, or can you accept service of suit on the FBI as well?
No, you'd have to look at the rules of civil procedure. You have to serve the Attorney General of the United States. You have to serve the U.S. Attorney for the district in which the lawsuit's filed. So I can accept service for the office, like by certified mail, if somebody files a lawsuit. But you also have to send it to the Attorney General.
Which is where the letter comes from, yeah.
So, I mean, as far as suing the FBI, like I said, they have their own counsel. So sometimes they would handle it exclusively. Sometimes they use the U.S. Attorney's Office on the civil side of things. I don't know what that answer would be. I mean, they basically send a referral. But yeah, I know our office works with the FBI, but that doesn't mean we have control over them as far as the way they handle lawsuits and stuff like that. But if you look at it's Rule 4 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure that talk about service of process, and when you're serving the United States, like I said, you have to serve the U.S. Attorney for the district in which it's filed, and you have to serve the Attorney General of the United States, which obviously you can find the address. You can Google service of process U.S. Attorney General to give you the address in D.C., but that's, for a lawsuit. Now, for a letter, there's no specific service of process rules, so what I was advising you is, if you want some type of proof that it was sent or received, I would suggest sending it certified mail, which you would do with the service of process too. It needs to be done certified mail for proof.
Right. So even if I was not, let's say I filed against the FBI, but not nationally, not the entire organization. If it was localized to just a branch office, would I still have to go through the Attorney General, serve the Attorney General of the United States, or would that just fall more back onto a localized?
No, it's still got to go through the Attorney General's office. I'm looking at Rule 4 right now. It's going to be Rule 4. Let's see. 4I, little I. It says serving the United States and its agencies. So, to serve the United States, you must send it to the U.S. Attorney and send a copy by registered or certified mail to the Attorney General of the United States in Washington, D.C. So it's Federal Rules Civil Procedure 4I, if you want to look it up.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds good. I wasn't trying to just come down hard on you, Sam. You can only imagine the frustration I'm having to deal with.
I wish I could say I appreciate it to the full extent that you do, but that would be lying if I said that. I do. I have sympathy for what you're dealing with. Obviously, I wish I could help more, but I'm sure you're mentioned getting the runaround a lot. It's certainly not something. I'm not trying to give you the runaround. Like I said, it may have been a mistake when you got transferred to me about service of process, but the advice I'm giving you is not a runaround. It's the best advice I can give you. And like I said, I hope that helps somewhat. I appreciate you saying that you weren't trying to come down on me. I appreciate that very much. So,
yeah. Would you be willing to take my number down and maybe pass a note to the U.S. Attorney to see if he'd be willing to reach out to me on his own accord?
Is it the 812-1613?
Yes.
Okay, because it shows up on our phones even when it was transferred. So yeah, I'll be happy to do that. I'm certainly, I'll pass along. You know, like I said, if I could obligate them to take a meeting, I'd do it. All I can do is pass along. I'll do that. I'll certainly make them aware of the phone call and you know, like you said, you mentioned for me to look up on the website. I did that while we were looking, so I see the open letter on your Twitter page there. So anyway, I'll certainly pass along the phone call for sure.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Ridden.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.